Hello, welcome along to Extremely Casual Gamers. It is a gaming podcast for the everyday gamer with Ellie, Chris and Guy, minus the Ellie this week. Ellie has taken a week off work, not just on the podcast, but in life. So I'm hoping right now she's doing nothing.
She better be doing nothing because last night she, hi, Chris here, by the way, hope you're well. She messaged us last night being like, hey, I forgot to give you the SD card, so maybe just hit up Jake to just double check, blah, 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 blah.
Big long paragraph of a message.
Yeah, and it's like literally we don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about that. It'll be fine. I'm sure the podcast studio has got SD cards.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show the stuff, the mental load she's carrying for this podcast, Guy.
Yeah, the invisible load is something that I've heard of. Don't smile.
No, it's a podcast. No one knew that I was grinning.
The invisible load is it's also a book, but it's a term thrown around about, and it's particular with women, married women as well, of just like all of the things that women take on without saying anything.
What about, so is it always just women?
No, not always.
Or is
just
it most
women.
commonly
most
women?
commonly with
without
women.
realizing.
Without realizing,
Yeah, okay.
like all the things that people do in their lives that the other person isn't aware of, and if they just stopped doing them, then the household would go up. So like if your wife is worried about something, like saving money for a holiday or something like that, and then you as the partner go, hey, it'll be fine, everything will be fine. You're trying to calm them down, but then them as the person who has the invisible load is saying, you just saying it'll be fine isn't actually going to fix the issue. So they're trying to think of how to fix the issue.
I think the issue there, and this is a situation certainly in my household, is I'm very relaxed about everything. And then my wife Lucy, she does get a wee bit anxious, but she worries about things that could go wrong.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Whereas my whole attitude towards life is, it'll probably be sweet as.
Yeah.
And it's worked so far.
It's one of the, I've known you for like 12, 13 years, and from the get-go, your attitude of it'll be fine it's almost like as if we're that married couple because I'm the person that's anxious about it. But you don't know that, Chris. And then the most annoying thing is that he's right.
Yeah,
and so many times you've said it'll be fine.
Yeah. And
it is.
fun.
When we were moving from Tauranga to Christchurch to go study, there was a thing for our course that we were about to enter that you had to have like a level 2 first aid certificate.
Oh, yeah.
It was really stupid. We were going down for a communications degree, but we needed to get a first aid certificate for some reason. So it was in the middle of summer. I was 18 and I had to go and do 2 days of learning how to CPR on a dummy with a whole bunch of random people. It was probably the best 2 days in the summer. Yeah. You and all the guys were out at the beach and I was like, no, I need to get my first aid thing because otherwise I won't be accepted into the class. Chris was going, it'll be fine. Because we were both going to the same thing, and you didn't get one.
I didn't get one. I was like, what's the point in having 20 people qualified for first aid?
I know. And then it was like $150 over 2 days, and then on the first day of our course, the teacher was just said out loud, now I assume you all got your first aid, so I won't bother with that. And moved on.
That's right.
And I looked at Chris, and he had the biggest shit-eating grin, because he didn't have to do anything. But I was like, hands in the air, like, what was the point?
The funny thing is, though, like we're in a class of, this is a broadcasting school. We're both studying radio. You're in a class of 20 people. What's the difference between 20 people knowing CPR and 19 knowing CPR?
Yeah, but what happens if it's late?
All 19 of them pass out?
What if it's late at night and you and me are studying and I start choking? And then you're like, sorry, buddy. I was at the beach that day.
Guy, you know that we were so poor we couldn't really afford food.
Yeah,
so most of our stuff was
liquid. We wouldn't stay behind and study as well.
No, well, that was a
very stupid scenario.
Because it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
We don't need to study.
But no, what were we talking about? Ellie.
It's Ellie, yeah. The mental weight thing is, so if one person in your relationship is very laid back and the other person is a bit of a warrior, they're carrying way more of this invisible load than the other person. That happens in my household and I'm very aware of it.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know, I've got a small backpack that not a lot of like stressful stuff can fit into.
Yeah.
I've got a little, it's like a little man bag.
Yeah.
What am I stressed out about at the moment? Quality of this podcast without Ellie.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Already we've made it all about us. As soon as we started talking about Ellie, we changed it to you and me.
That's right.
Yeah. But on the podcast this week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So obviously we've got your gaming news, your listener feedback, and then you want to bring something to the table as well.
Yeah, that's right. The gaming discussion for today, I mean, I can't believe I've never thought of this before, but trophies. If you were to get trophies in real life, what would the trophies be called and what would the achievements actually be?
Yeah.
So like achievements if you're on Xbox, and I think it's trophies on Steam on PC as well. So I've written a list of a whole heap of trophies, how to achieve them, and then we can discuss whether they should be bronze, silver, gold.
Cool.
And whether or not we've actually got any of those trophies so far.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's roll into some listener feedback. Coming in on our Extremely Casual group for Extremely Casual Gamers Facebook group. This one's from Johnny Ellis. Finally finished It Takes Two. Started it soon after I moved to Ireland to stay in contact with a friend. Because obviously with that game, if one of you has a copy of It Takes Two, the other one doesn't need it, and you can play online as co-op.
So network.
Really cool.
It's the same as A Way Out as well, the other game they made.
So
right?
So from Hazelight Studios, if you have one copy of the game, then you can just online play together.
Awesome.
Which is really cool, which is what these guys did. We started it in August of 2023. Have I beaten the record? Because obviously Ellie took so long with her partner. So maybe that's the record. So 2023, but she started playing it in 2023.
I reckon that's probably the same length of time as Ellie.
It's roughly the same length of time.
Well done, Johnny.
Yeah, well done, Johnny.
Can I just also confirm that Ellie is still worse because she was playing with the person she lives with.
That's true.
Johnny's playing with a person in another area of the world.
Also, Johnny isn't a co-host of a gaming podcast.
No.
Where I feel like you need to.
Although he might be next week.
He could be. Yeah. He also says, I'm also completed the Plucky Squire this morning.
He said, I'm also completed the Plucky Squire.
Yeah. He says,
sorry. We've got this thing on our radio show now. We've decided to pull everyone up every time they make a mistake.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's gonna, if that keeps happening.
I got to stop.
So Johnny has completed It Takes Two and a Plucky Squire, which is fantastic.
So the Plucky Squire, you've been playing that.
Really cool game.
Yeah. Is it a long game?
Well, at the moment, I'm about 350 minutes in because, when you click on your save, it tells you how long you've been playing.
Okay, so it's 5 hours-ish, 6 hours almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's about a 10-hour
Great.
campaign. It's not very long, but it is really cool.
Yeah, great.
So I can talk about that later. Menzies has jumped in saying, Chris, you got to play Disco, man. Disco Elysium. I haven't finished it yet, but it's been one of the best gaming experiences of my life. I got it on the Switch.
So that is a game. I talked about it last week. I mentioned it's like a game where you're a detective and every day you wake up and you solve the same murder over and over again, but you find out more little things so that when you wake up the next day, you've got a slightly more, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah. And every review I've watched for it is like, this is a 10 out of 10. It's a new frontier in storytelling and games. You're not fighting and shooting and stuff. It's all about looking for clues and reading people's alibis and getting to know them. And I really want to play it. I think an airplane would actually be a good game. Next time I'm on a long haul flight, get that on maybe it's on Steam and jam that on the airplane because you don't have to it's not like shit first person. You got to shoot. Yeah. So that might actually be my next one.
Yeah.
I really need to play Disco Elysium.
And then it reminds me of LA Noire. Do you remember that game from
LA
Rockstar?
Noire was insane.
That was a cool game.
It was good. Unfortunately, they're never going to make another one. I guess the appeal, because Grand Theft Auto was you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And then LA Noire was actually you're solving all those.
If you don't know what it is, LA Noire from Rockstar Games, it is like a 1950s American detective game, where it is it is third person and and it's open world.
You've got the hat on and the long coat, and it's like, well, what do we have here?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I remember it's just there's that classic video online of it, where you have to decide is he lying or not by looking at their body language.
Yeah.
And someone's version of it glitched out, and a guy's face was like,
who, me?
Yeah, am I lying? People can't listen to this, have no idea what face I'm doing. Just imagine a funny face, and then you had to decide whether he was lying or not.
Because what you do is it was believe, disbelieve, or doubt or something like that. And every single time there was obviously a correct answer, and if you got it wrong, it made a noise.
That's right.
So you only had a limited time to they'd say something do you believe what he says? And you press I believe, and then it'll go and that's the noise it makes when you got it wrong. You're like, shit.
See, I actually hated that game because I couldn't handle not perfectly nailing everything.
Totally.
So I actually didn't finish that. I got a third of the way through.
I remember you playing it at the flat.
Yeah.
And I was watching you play it. I never really played it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how it ends.
No, I have no idea.
Does it just solve all the crimes?
I think I got 3 crimes in and I got something wrong again. I was like, okay, I can't handle this game. It's too hard. Yeah.
All right. And then on the Extremely Casual group for Extremely Casual Gamers, this one comes in from my wife.
Oh, hello.
Megan Mansell. Hi, everyone. Does anyone have any recommendations of games that don't get harder as you progress? I know that's probably the point of gaming, but I like playing the storylines and journey, but find most get to a certain level where it just turns into stress for me. I'm happy to stay cruising and enjoy. So we played Overcooked, the fun little cooking game.
That's the most stressful game you can play.
When it starts,
it's great fun.
It's lovely.
First 2 levels.
Yeah, and we've talked about this many times on the podcast, but then it gets way too intense and the floor starts falling away and stuff like that. And we just stopped playing it because it's no, we just want to play a fun little cooking game and, order up and stuff like that. So a lot of people, Paul Askew, any of the walking sim type games generally stay pretty consistent in terms of challenge. What Became of Edith Finch was one I played through last year.
That's a horror game.
Excellent.
I think Ellie loves that game, actually.
Yeah. I remember Ellie mentioning it, but
Yeah.
I can't remember if she finished it. Brianna, hi Meg, have you played any of the Lego games? I'm playing the Lego Harry Potter games currently. There's the Lego Lord of the Rings and Lego Hobbit as
That's
well.
so chill, yeah.
And she also says that the Spyro Reignited trilogy is fantastic. As a fan of the original, I was very impressed with the remake. Visually stunning.
Because Crash Bandicoot, famously, everyone forgot how difficult Crash Bandicoot was back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
When they remastered that.
Super hard.
And it gets harder as well. Whereas maybe Spyro, I wasn't a Spyro guy. Maybe that is pretty chill.
Yeah, that's why we need Ellie, because Ellie was a Spyro person.
Yeah,
she talks about it, and she used to like burn the sheep alive or something like that.
That's
or
right.
eat
Her exact phrasing was, I used to abuse the sheep. I remember it.
abuse.
Yeah, so poor choice of words there. But I remember you just sort of run around and fly and you can just breathe flames on. There's not too much jeopardy. Like, it's pretty chill.
Paul Craze Jr. Hi, Meg. The Legend of Zelda games on the Switch offer a great story and visuals, fun gameplay, and as you gather more gear in the game, you get stronger, making the game easier. Meg would not like Zelda.
No, and the other thing too is, I think I've played Zelda and I really like it, but there is a real lack of storyline.
Yeah.
There's a mini one, but mostly it's like, hey, go do whatever you want. She wants a bit of an adventure to go on where she's cinematically... she's going through a really dense story that's,
I got Tears of the Kingdom like 2 years ago. And I sat down on the Switch. We like plugged it into the TV and everything. I was like, this will be a fun game for me to play and you to watch. I've never played a Zelda game before. And when you're like your partner's watching and she's not really fully paying attention, she'd come back and she'd go, what's happening now? And I, for the life of me, couldn't tell. I was like, I have no idea. I'm bumbling around trying to make meals. Like it was too big for me.
That's the whole thing. The whole idea is you just get thrown into a world and you just bum around.
I was like, what is the storyline here?
Yeah.
Give me some direction. And that's why I lost interest in it. There's from Polder says, I'd like to recommend some smaller titles that are really heartwarming. Venba, a little cooking game with a beautiful story about culture. Donut County, a cute game where you control a hole that eats up the town. Has a fun little story too.
See, actually, I think indie games could be the way to go.
Indie games, she loved the game Lake for a bit.
Oh, is it the post office one?
It's the one where you are a woman that comes to a hometown and her parents have gone on holiday and they run the post office and they said, can you run it for a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And you literally just drive around. It's very low graphics, it's like 3 megabytes. It's a tiny game.
But it's chill.
It's super chill. But even then, she stopped playing it.
Yeah, right.
Because I think maybe it was too chill. It was kind of like, I don't think she cares too much about the driving around.
Yeah, right.
Because it's a very small map, but she kind of enjoyed the storyline per se, but still didn't finish it.
Maybe some sort of game where you are like trying to solve a mystery or, you know what I mean, uncovering stuff.
Yeah.
That could work.
And finally, Matt Crispin says, I'm over 50 years old, full-time job, caring for my mother. I don't have time to grind anymore or the drive to constantly challenge myself with video games. I've embraced Wiimod as a way to make games more relaxing, to take to the story without any pressure. Some people think I should revoke my gamer identity because of this, but I don't care. I say, play how you want to play. Besides, I have paid my dues on bricks like Ghosts of Goblins and Catacombs. So he uses mods on his PC to make games more easier. I think that's fantastic.
The thing with that is, as he said, he's over 50, he's caring for his mum. And I think with video games, there comes a time in your life where you actually go, I don't care about this.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got to that point last year where I just said, I actually don't care about completing games too much anymore. Certain ones, like Elden Ring and The Witcher, where I know you can complete it in one go.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, great, perfect, I will complete it. Whereas games that are like, oh, you have to grind for hours and hours to get this one little achievement, I don't care about that stuff anymore. And I think the older I get, especially once kids come into the equation, parents looking after sickness and stuff, of course you don't care about that shit anymore.
No.
So that's 100% fair enough.
Yeah, I got to a point where I was playing Fortnite like 3 to 4 times a week before having kids. And then we had Daisy, and then obviously naturally that went down. But I was still like, I need to make sure I still play Fortnite with the guys and stuff like that. Now I haven't touched Fortnite in ages. One, because I don't really care much about the game, but two,
you hate the guys.
I just hate the guys. They're actually really horrible people.
To be fair, like Helldivers 2, which we're still jamming occasionally, 100% the only reason I want to play that is just to jump online with you guys.
It's got nothing to do with I got really into the storyline and the lore of Helldivers 2 when it first came out, because it was interesting and it was new.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, I don't like the Illuminate have come into it for the last few months. I'm like,
who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? Like I just want to play with the guys.
That's right. So that's the nice thing about online games, at least, is you don't really care too much. And the good thing about Helldivers 2 is you can adjust the difficulty, so it's as easy or as hard as you want it to be.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Which is bloody good.
But that wraps up listener feedback. Of course, you can hit us up on Instagram, Extremely Casual Gamers podcast, or go to our Facebook group. It's a really, really cool group there of awesome people, 421 people and counting. Extremely casual group for the number 4, extremely casual gamers. ECG for ECG.
That's right. Jump on there, and we've started a new setup where we do DLC episodes, a bonus episode that'll come out, I think, on a Monday here in New Zealand. And we just noticed that heaps of people were putting heaps of great discussion topics and things both on the group and sending to us on Instagram. So we're dedicating an episode to that. Any ideas you guys have, chuck it on the group, and likely we'll turn it into a DLC.
We release it on Monday mornings here in New Zealand. Does that mean that it comes out on like a Sunday night in the United States?
I've got no idea.
I feel like maybe we should release it on Tuesday mornings here, because then it'll be available on Monday, because no one really listens to podcasts on the weekend.
What about we just release it the same time as our regular one? This isn't even joking.
Yeah.
And then there's just 2, both at the same day, and you can go boom, boom.
Maybe.
Because one of the reasons why we did this was like it could be a good way to like spice up our listenership and like split blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, if we're just doing that, if we do both of them, people are more likely to go main one, then DLC, one after the other, and treat it as one. That could be an option.
Possibly. By all means, what would you like us to do? Join the discussion.
Tell us what to do.
Tell us what to do. I'm so lost.
We don't know what to do.
Gaming news.
There's gaming news. The first piece of gaming news. Actually, while I'm reading this out, guy, could you turn the aircon on?
Yeah, sure, mate.
The first gaming news, you just hit the button there. Thanks, man.
Thank you for mansplaining aircon.
No, it was just, I don't think I've ever seen you. Yeah. That's on, eh? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. It's bloody hot in this little studio.
Because I was actually sitting there going, I've never turned this on before, so I need to make sure I know what I'm doing.
That's right.
I still lashed out when you told me what to do.
That's all good. I was expecting it. The first piece of gaming news is that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has officially released, and the reviews are in mostly positive. 88% of all critical reviews at the time of this podcast. 88% out of 100%,
That's
basically.
Great.
So there are a few that and let me just say, it is a game that you have to be willing to play an old-fashioned style of RPG where it is quite slow. You're not a God of War type or a Witcher type character who is just a fighting machine.
It really does focus on progression,
massively. It's like if you were randomly put into, not you, but anyone was put into the Middle Ages and how useless you'd be at everything.
Yeah.
That is what Kingdom Come Deliverance is all about. A lot of people are saying that the graphics are a bit crap, but it's mostly because from what I've read, a lot of people's machines just aren't good enough to play it.
Yep.
Because it is really testing the boundaries of the latest technology. But GameSpot, 9 out of 10, IGN, 9 out of 10, PC Gamer, 9 out of 10, and then Eurogamer, which was interesting, 6 out of 10. And it was because the person who reviewed it just said, I don't vibe with this style of game where it's just like punishing if you're bad, like it really punishes you, and if you're dumb and don't pay too much attention.
I actually think that's a valid point. I think
100%.
I mean, if you're looking at reviews, if you're thinking about buying it, you would see all of the 9s and the 8s and stuff, and then you see the 6 and you think either that person's wrong or what is it about the game that they actually don't like with.
That's right.
I think it's important for people who don't like certain types of games to review them, because otherwise it's all going to be glowing.
That's why it's good to have a split, especially from all the like professional outlets, and for the person to say, this is why I didn't like it. And for example, I think I said this last week, do not play this game, guy.
No, I'm never
You'll
going
hate
to.
it. You know, because you're a different type of gamer, whereas this is perfect for me. This is a style of game that I really like, but I know, to be honest, maybe even if you had 10 gamers in a room, I think maybe 5 of them would be keen on this game and 5 probably wouldn't.
And I reckon 2 of them have heard of it before and the rest haven't.
Yeah, to be fair, the first one kind of slid under the radar, but then was quite good and then was successful about a year after it was released once they fixed all the bugs and stuff. But I'm just super excited to have another massive RPG to put on my list. It's my favorite genre. Way back from Oblivion was my first ever one, and now it's just like this genre that's still being serviced. So I've still got to play Baldur's Gate 3 at some stage, which I'm freaking out about. Jamming out in Ring at the moment. Still haven't got to the DLC yet, which I'm loving. And then now Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is on the horizon for me.
You got some big games coming up.
Huge games. And that's pretty much my year mapped out, which I'm stoked about.
A couple of weeks ago, we did a discussion about funny or kooky or strange niche trophies that you can earn playing video games, and you mentioned one about Kingdom Come Deliverance where you get through the entire game as a virgin and you don't have sex.
It's called celibacy. That's the kind of trophy that I decided, not because I'm a perv, that I wasn't even going to bother with, because going to and I tried to explain it, if you go to the bathhouse, it's like the fastest way to rest, heal any like head wounds and like, because you get crippled limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like limping around the map, and it's just the fastest and easiest and most cost-effective way is unfortunately to go to the bathhouse and fool around a wee bit.
The reason I bring it up is because at the time I thought of a joke forgot to say it, and then I keep remembering it, and then I keep forgetting
Hell
to
yeah,
bring it up
baby, let's
again.
go.
So the title of that trophy should have been Kingdom No Come Deliverance. Because he doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's great,
Right?
guy. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's filthy, but it's good.
But it's a funnier title.
Yeah, no, it's
Kingdom
really good.
No Come Deliverance.
Or don't. Yeah, no, it's good.
But yeah, that's.
It is good. I wish
that's
Ellie
my
was here
gaming
because
news.
she'd crack up. So that was your gaming news?
No,
Oh,
my
okay.
gaming news. Obviously, start of the week there was the Grammys. If you follow that kind of stuff, you know it's music. Music people win awards. Stuff. Right? Beyonce won Album of the Year, and she won Country Album of the Year. Sabrina Carpenter won Pop Album of the Year.
Shout out to the Rolling Stones for taking Rock Album of the Year.
Oh, did they?
With Hackney Diamonds, which is they just did like an old school blues album last year. Sydney Sweeney was in the video clip for one of them. Great,
yeah.
great video clip, by the way.
Is she? What's she doing?
Oh, it's just very tastefully done.
yeah, of course.
And so the Rolling Stones, after being together for 1,000,000 years.
Oh my god, they've been together for like 55 years or something,
yeah,
right?
so good.
But did you know over the last 3 years at the Grammys, because obviously there's the televised Grammys with the major awards, and then beforehand there's like the real niche stuff that, you know, is important if you're involved, but isn't televised. For the last 3 years, there's been Best Game Soundtrack
Oh,
at
wow.
the Grammys.
Oh, wow. This is an interesting one.
Yeah. So the one that won it this year, so Assassin's Creed Valhalla won it the first time, and then a Star Wars game won it the second time last year, and then this year it went to Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord. It's a bit of an indie title, but they won Best Soundtrack, and they beat out God of War Ragnarok and Marvel Spider-Man 2 to become the best video game soundtrack.
I was going to say, my nomination was going to be, but I thought it was too old. God of War Ragnarok. Bear McCreary is the guy who's like the lead composer and wrote all the music, and he's just like,
Yeah, it's crazy that you know that, Bear McCreary.
yeah. And so that's every time I hear the Kratos theme song from the new God of War, it like gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
So for this game must have a sick soundtrack.
Yeah, well, it's a remake of a 1981 RPG. It was composed by famed musician Winifred Phillips and has previously created scores for blockbusters like God of War, Assassin's Creed 3, and Little Big Planet. So he's got a bit of a background. He says, I was totally blown away. I cannot believe this. It's just amazing. And it's like a bright light just exploded in my head.
Awesome.
I'm just blown over. So yeah, it's actually really cool. It's if you haven't heard of the game, it's a medieval fantasy in the best tradition of Dungeons and Dragons and traditionally medieval fantasy. So it's inspiring to create music for that.
That's so cool. Oh my God. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. So next year, but keep an eye out for the Grammys. It's probably not going to be televised, but yeah, that is
Anything else?
That's all I've got for gaming news.
Anything else happen at the Grammys that you want to touch on?
Sabrina Carpenter did a cool performance at the start. It was like quite comical.
I'm talking about Kanye's missus.
I don't like that happened.
No, neither do I.
I don't like that it happened.
Neither.
I feel gross about it because I feel like he made her do it.
But we don't know that.
We don't know that. She could have been all on board, but he just, I don't know. I don't like Kanye West in general.
No.
He wasn't even invited. He wasn't nominated.
Wasn't he?
He wasn't invited. He just turned up and then he got kicked out. Like, he's such a douchebag.
Yeah.
And have you seen like how he was standing? Like, he was like pouting. He looked like a toddler that's being told to pose for a photo. He's like, I don't want to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, yes.
Okay.
His wife, if you didn't know, which would be weird if you hadn't, was just in a complete, she was fully nude. And then she had like a sheer dress.
Did
you
you say,
saw everything?
Did you say nude?
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Nude. Like
Okay.
nuclear. I don't know. I think I switched between the two.
That's all good.
But that was the Grammys. But personal chat here. Something that came up in my brain early on today because I heard the ad for it on the radio for the new trailer for the new Captain America movie.
Can I just say we don't have to say personal chat?
Well, I just thought I'd say it because otherwise it'd be a weird transition.
Yeah,
and I
right.
didn't know how to bring it in because we were just talking about a woman being nude.
Yeah, right.
But there's the new Captain America movie, which is coming out next week. It's got Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America and Harrison Ford as well, who's going to be playing Red Hulk. Like, it looks awesome. But yeah,
Harrison Ford's
Stop
wheeling him out for stuff. He's old now. He can't beat people up.
But he's CGI and Red Hulk. Like,
oh my God.
It's dope. But at the same time, I just don't care. There was a time when a Marvel movie was coming out and I would be like, get me to the premiere. I cannot wait to go see this movie. Like, I loved Marvel, like everyone else, but like a lot of people after Endgame, which was, a huge movie.
Well, they went all in on that, right? And it paid off because everyone loved it. But now trying to stick with it, no one gives a shit anymore.
I don't care. They've released some really dud TV shows, but apparently they've released some really good TV shows, and I haven't even watched them yet. I just don't care about Marvel. And like today, the teaser trailer for the Fantastic Four movie came out, and I was like, cool.
Well, now you know how I feel whenever any Marvel movie comes out.
Why is it that you don't like Marvel?
Because of what you're describing. because they're the Assassin's Creed or the Far Cry of the movie universe, where the first ones are sick. I love the first Iron Man movie. I love watching old school Peter Parker, Spider-Man with what's it, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Like, I loved all those, and the first time you see it, maybe the second time too, but then it's just like, oh, there's 24 of them or whatever in the thing to get to Endgame, and then there's been like 6, and now She-Hulk is a lawyer in New York.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it's all just too much. It's too full on.
They've built a huge universe, and it's now they've reached a point where when they release something, when they release a movie or a TV show, it can't actually just be about that action hero.
That's right.
Because they've done so many cameos.
Yes.
That people expect it now. So you release a Spider-Man movie and it has to have Daredevil in it. And like it has to have surprises.
Yeah. Oh, can I just say the only exception to that is the Into the Spider-Verse.
Those are cool.
2 movies.
Yeah.
Because those are just a sick rendition with cool music as well.
It's a breath of fresh air, those movies.
It totally was. One of your favorite movie franchises of all time is The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
There were 3 movies.
Yes.
And there was like 5 years between releases. Like it took.
No, it was like a year.
Did they crank them out a yearly?
They filmed them all in one go, and then I'm pretty sure it was like 2001, 2, and 3. Return of the King was out in 2003, and the first one came out when I moved to New Zealand, which was 2000. So yeah,
right, okay. So, but like the reason that to this day is just such an iconic franchise is because, firstly, it was written by Tolkien, and it was a novel first, but also they just went all in on 3, and then sure they made The Hobbit into 3 movies, and I didn't enjoy those anywhere near as much. No. And they're still trying to do like the Rings of Power and all sorts of stuff.
Bad.
Well, exactly, but you compare the amazing 3 movies to the 24 in the Marvel universe. Like Luce and I, my wife, decided we're going to watch them. So we started with we tried to do it in order. You have to start with Captain America.
Yeah,
terrible movie. We stopped halfway through
Captain America, the first one's a bit brr.
It's so bad. It's just like, come on, man. Like, the first Lord of the Rings movie was insane.
Yeah. All 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies are still so good. I recently watched them all again.
One of my fondest memories of us living together early doors over a decade ago was when you, me, and our mate Jamie got a Toto's meter-long pizza and watched The Fellowship of the Ring, because I had never seen it at that point.
Yeah.
A meter of pizza split between 3 fellas watching Lord of the Rings. It was one of the best nights
That was a really good night. But the other point of that is I'm not excited about movies anymore, and I think it's because streaming services have killed it.
Oh, that's right. They're way more obtainable now, right?
Yeah, I feel like streaming services like Netflix and Apple and Paramount and stuff, you should only be allowed to make TV shows, not movies.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I feel like it just ruins the hype now.
You think it's their fault and not the people that keep cranking out Marvel movies?
I think everyone's got their reason. They all take part of the blame, but I feel like Netflix just releasing movies left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Is ruining the movie-going experience.
Yeah, fair enough. And the fact we were talking about this the other day, where back in the I don't know 20 years ago when we were kids, should we watch a movie this Friday night? You had to be like really look forward and go, should we watch a movie Friday night? Okay, cool. Well, I'll go to the video store and we'll go have a look at DVDs and we'll pick one like based on the cover and reading the back of it.
Also, it was a gamble. They'll be like, okay, so I read in the paper that Gladiator is coming out this weekend at Video Easy, right? So you'd go down on Friday night, you'd be excited to watch Gladiator because you missed it 4 months ago when it came out of the movies, and you would have to wait for your mum or dad to come home because they'd only have a limited amount of copies.
Yeah, and they might all sell out.
So they could come home and be like, sorry, I didn't get Gladiator, so we're just going to have to watch Deep Blue Sea. It was a gamble whether or not you could watch your favorite movie.
I've got a recurring thing of my mum and dad. I swear their go-to when they couldn't find a movie to watch when it was just like mum and dad movie night.
Yeah.
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11's a great movie.
It is a great movie, but I remember them hiring it out like at least 3 or 4 times. And that certainly fits the character description of my dad in particular. Yeah. Just a creature of habit. Like, oh, well, we know this is good. We'll just get this. One thing I want to just a personal chat.
Oh, good. Great. So we need a sting.
One thing I want to open your eyes to, Guy. I don't know whether it's something you would be interested in. The world of automations on your phone.
Go on.
So you're Samsung.
I'm Samsung, but I'm sure they have it.
So on Apple iPhone, Shortcuts is an app.
Yeah.
Automations. Now, the reason I looked into this was because I want to be woken up with the radio every morning, like an old school clock radio.
Yeah, of course.
So 7 a.m. I want my radio station that I work for. One of my best mates has just started on the breakfast show there.
Oh, yeah.
I want to wake up every morning at 7 with him.
Yeah.
You know, and so I couldn't figure out a way to do it. And I was on Reddit, blah, 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 blah. And then someone was like, why don't you set an automation on your phone? And basically what it does is go at certain time of day, open certain app and do certain thing.
Yeah.
And so I have set an automation for 7 a.m. every weekday. When my wake up alarm goes off, play music. And then I went into what music, found Radio Hodaki, my radio station. And so now it is set up that my phone, like a robot, plays music at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm sure Samsung might have a version of it.
Probably do.
I'll look into it, but no, I'm all about that kind of thing. I love streamlining things. Yeah.
And so at 3 p.m. every weekday, my phone has now got an automation to go into silent mode because I keep forgetting to silence my phone before going on air on the radio.
Why is your phone ever not in silent mode?
So I can hear people calling me. What do you mean?
I don't think my phone's ever been on loud.
Yeah, but Guy, you don't have that many people trying to get in touch with you, man. You got no friends and stuff. Mine is blowing up.
My watch rings if my phone
you've
goes.
got a watch, so it doesn't. Yeah. Oh, that makes a noise.
Well, it just vibrates. It's a lot easier for if my wrist is vibrating. I'll be like, oh, someone's calling me.
Yeah, see, that's handy. If I had a watch, I'd probably be the same. But I've set it so that at 7 p.m. it goes back into non-silent mode.
Yeah.
Every weekday, and I've even set it so that at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
It adjusts my media volume to 15%. Which I have worked out is the perfect sort of volume to not get freaked out by my radio alarm every morning. So if I haven't adjusted the volume before I go to sleep, at 2 a.m. it automatically puts it down to 15%.
That's good.
So I'm trying to automate my life.
Yeah.
It's something I've discovered 2 days ago, and I'm just trying to purposely think of reasons to use it more and more.
I feel like you benefit from those like Samsung smart. I think the Samsung there's like a plug, and it's like you plug it in to your normal socket, and then you plug in like a lamp to that plug.
Yes.
And then it's all connected to a hub, and
That's
then you
right.
can be like you can set it so that the lamp in the lounge turns on every morning at 6:30. So when you walk out in the morning, it's like it's on. And it's just if it's plugged in using this plug, then it means that you can control it.
It just cuts power on or off, right? Which is genius.
And you can do it for lights and stuff like that. I feel like that was something you would love.
I do have smart bulbs in our lounge, but I've never used them properly.
Yeah.
So, but automations, if you've got an iPhone, I'm sure Samsung has the same thing.
And it's called routines or something like that.
Same thing, yeah. And also, if you've ever wanted to wake up with a clock radio style situation, but you don't have one, I bought one from Kmart and I forgot that it has bright, luminescent numbers which light up our whole room.
Yeah.
And so I had to get rid of it. But you can do it on your phone. That's how you can do it.
Yeah. Actually, we'll look into that.
Yeah, you should do it. All right, time for some gaming chats.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about movies for like 10 minutes.
Just shooting the breeze. Well, this is the new Extremely Casual Gamers podcast, man. We're casual. Well, we related it to games.
Yeah, we did.
A wee bit. Remember,
somehow.
I said Marvel's like Assassin's Creed. That's relevant.
That's true.
So today's gaming chat is around if there were trophies in real life. Of course, trophies, if you don't know what they are, you can get them on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam for...
Nintendo.
Nintendo as well, for doing certain things or, a certain amount of things or reaching certain points in a video game, beating certain bosses. You might get a trophy that says, well done, you've beaten... for example, Elden Ring, you've beaten Margit the Fellowman or something like that.
There's trophies that happen regardless whether or not you are trying to obtain them. Like if you just get through a certain level, you're, oh, cool, I want a trophy. And then there's also trophies that you have to look at what it is I need to obtain and go out of your way to
very specific ones. Yeah. And it might be like, reach 1,000 kills or something.
Yeah, collect 50 of these envelopes, something like that.
Exactly. So what I've done is put together a real life trophy list. Now I'm not sure. Did you come up with any trophies yourself? Because you don't have to.
I haven't written a list per se, but I think I've got a couple on the dome.
Yeah, no, that's all good. So what I've done is I've put together a basic life of someone.
Yeah.
If life was a game, what the trophies would be.
Let's hear it.
And feel free to slot in any more. And also, I want to know if you've actually got any of these.
Oh, me.
Okay.
All right.
The first trophy that most people will earn, I'm skipping through like early childhood and that sort of thing. And this is relevant to New Zealand. So if you're listening overseas, replace this with whatever your local equivalent is. Finish school with NCEA level 1, 2, and 3, and you will unlock the trophy Well Read. I don't have that trophy.
I don't have the trophy. I've got level 1. I don't have level 3. And I seriously, for the life of me, can't remember if I got level 2.
Guy.
I think I did.
Really?
I think I did.
One of my favorite facts about myself is I don't have university entrance, which for those overseas is the amount of NCEA, which you do year 11, 12, 13, level 1, 2, 3. You need level 1 and 2 to go to university.
Yeah.
Halfway through level 2, I just stopped and started skipping school all the time.
Yeah.
Man, look at us now.
Yeah.
Silence.
I mean, I can't tell if that's a good thing. Look at us now as like a case study for study, or if that you don't need to study.
It'll all be fine.
Yeah,
It'll all work out.
You don't know that, Chris.
So what level do you think that is? Bronze? I think that should be silver. Because it's actually hard to stick and actually study and
I
not
think
get
it's a
distracted.
silver one, definitely.
Yeah. So, well, if you've got well read, congratulations, one silver trophy. Steam powered. Discover the joys of alcohol. First time getting steamed.
Ah, yeah. So, that's bronze.
Bronze is,
That's
I think it's bronze for me as well. Vivid memories. I was 16, so Americans, they obviously have to be 21.
Yeah.
New Zealand, 18. So I was 16, box of Spates, my mate James's house, just up the road from school on a Saturday night.
Didn't take a lot to get me drunk back in the day. Obviously, like with a lot of people, but I remember when I was like 15 or 16, I'd have like 3 Woodstocks, which is like bourbon and cola.
These days...
And I'd be like, oh, guys, I'm toasted.
Well, of course, because you're a tiny guy as well at the time.
Yeah, I was.
And you're not used to it at all. And I remember back in the day, it was, how much can you handle? But so good.
Yeah, drinking culture, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. New Zealand, binging, that's what we do. So that's steam powered, that's bronze. You've unlocked that, I've unlocked that. Into the fire is the next one. Earn your first paycheck.
Into the fire.
Yeah, because this is the rest of your
You're in
life.
the world now. Yeah, that's a bronze.
That's bronze. I've got that, you've got that.
Yeah.
Next one's called Guy's Mum. Have a one night stand. Your mum doesn't listen to this, eh?
She does.
No, she doesn't.
She 100% does. Mum, I'm so sorry.
No, Julie, and you have to understand that making a joke about someone's mum is like just a go-to.
It's more about shaming me
Yes.
through the vessel of you.
That's right.
But it's not actually something that...
No.
But still, how dare you?
Also, I wish my mum definitely wouldn't listen to...
Julie is a saint.
No, of course Julie's the same. And the worst part is, once you really know someone, you can't really make mum jokes because usually you've met the parents.
Yeah.
And... Yeah,
they fed you and
they looked after
you
me and all sorts of stuff. Many a breakfast after town. This next one's called I don't really like them, but if you do, then that's all that matters. Get a tattoo.
Bronze.
Yeah,
that's easy.
You've got that. I don't have that.
Yeah, why don't you have tattoos?
Don't know.
Is it because it's a lot of pressure? Because it's like once it's on, and you don't love something so much that...
Bingo.
Yeah.
That second point. But also... I think I'd get like because I'm part Māori, I'd get like a Māori tāmoko, but in order to get a proper one, you have to earn it somehow.
Yeah.
Traditionally, I'm pretty sure.
Like a trophy.
So, yeah, well, exactly. It's like unlocking a trophy. So, I'm trying to learn Te Reo Māori. Got too busy towards the end of last year, so I had to stop. But if I was to finish that and actually get my certificate, then maybe I'd look into it.
Where would you get it? Or does it have to be somewhere specific?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It depends. It, like the traditional route is it depends on where you're from and what tribe you are and blah blah blah.
Would you have to get it the traditional way with the
hammer and
the stick and the whacking?
Well, they used to do the rat's teeth. They'd sharpen rat's teeth and use that to.
It looks insane, and I've heard it's insanely painful.
Yeah, nah. See, and also the pain aspect scares me away. I don't want to sit down and get stabbed 1,000 times.
Yeah, fair enough.
Next trophy, about bloody time. Get promoted at work.
Ooh.
So I think that's bronze as well.
That's bronze. Oh.
Silver? Do you think getting your first promotion, but that can be as simple as like when I was my first job at the fruit shop in town, going from just a checkout guy to being able to work back of house and drive the forklift.
Yeah, I suppose that is bronze. I used to work at Burger Fuel, and then I worked there for years as just a person making burgers, and then for some reason they made me a night shift manager when I was like 17.
Boom, trophy unlocked.
I was so shit at it. I was so bad. We would close so early, and customers would come up and be like, "Are you open?" I'm like, nah. It's like, but it says open till 10. It'd be like 9:20, and I'll have closed up. And then it was my job to cash up the till at the end of the night.
Oh god!
And they, for a time, thought I was shoplifting, like stealing, because the till was never correct. But it was just because I was so shit at maths. I was like, guys, I swear I'm not stealing. I just don't understand it.
And the reason you're shit at maths is because you didn't unlock the first trophy well read. Finishing school with NCA level 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So we've both got that. That's a bronze trophy.
Yeah.
Had it coming. This next one, get fired from work. So not everyone's going to unlock this one. I've never been fired.
I've never been fired. I've been let go.
I've been the host of a TV show and then I was replaced the next season.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that counts? It counts because like they've gone, we don't think you're good enough. Here's someone else.
Possibly.
So I think I probably had that.
To be fair, I feel like fired is because you've done something wrong.
Like,
whereas
close
like
up early and not do the till properly.
yeah. The fact I wasn't fired is ridiculous. No, I haven't been fired. My contract's run out, and they've said, sorry, we're not renewing your contract.
So I think you're coming in, you violated some sort of thing, and then you've been fired. I'm sorry, we're going to have to let you go.
It's like a fireable offence. Like yeah.
So not getting your contract renewed, as we've both experienced, that could be like that's not a trophy. I'm talking about fired.
Yeah.
So
you've slept in and
That's
you're
right.
consistently late. You've had your 2 warnings, all that shit.
Next one's called fisticuffs.
Ooh, I've been in a scrap.
Get into your first fight. Whoa. I've been in one fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was that when I was there?
nah. I've been in a couple of fights actually. The first one was when we were playing rugby, and I was like 14, and my mate Cameron tackled this guy, nailed him like copybook, and he was their big guy.
Yeah.
He picked him up, dumped him on his back, and that guy just started going to town on Cameron because he'd never obviously been smashed in a tackle before.
Yeah.
And then everyone ran, and then the parents ran in.
Man.
And I was the first one to get there to help Cameron because he was the position inside me on the back line there. And I pulled the guy off him and swung at him. Missed, and I fell over.
Did you get pushed over?
He pushed me over.
You swung at a guy
And I missed completely. He just pushed me over and then started to go back to town on Cameron. So that I remember the trophy popping and being like, that's good enough. And then from that point on, I was just sort of peacemaker.
No, there was a time. No, you would have got the trophy as well. When we were studying in Christchurch, we were in a really packed bar, and you were really steamed. And there was these people in the bar having a conversation. They wouldn't move, so you just started walking through
Was that
them.
the Crake?
Yeah, the Crake, the
I
Irish
do remember
pub.
that, that's right.
And then first started flying, but because it was so packed, they weren't really.
Yeah.
First, I just remember like just haymakering around, like eyes closed, and then the bartender. She got the soda gun to like we were a bunch of dogs. Like, it was just like squirting us with soda to stop us.
Sweet. So first, that technically counts.
That counts.
We're outside.
They're not quality fights. Not all. No fighting is quality.
No, exactly.
But-
I mean, some of it's pretty sick, like
Yeah.
UFC and stuff. But yeah, so I think we've both popped that, even though it was kind of embarrassing.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't brag about it.
This one is called He/She is the One.
Ooh, got engaged.
Get married.
Nice.
Cool. The next one, we've both got that. The next one, the one is a lying, cheating, BITCH/POS.
Get divorced.
Get divorced. So that hasn't popped for me yet.
Never gonna get that one.
Never going to get that one either. Here. Next trophy. Oh, those two, by the way, silver for get married and silver for get divorced, I think. They're huge life decisions.
I reckon gold for divorce because a lot of people.
But trophy hunters will intentionally get divorced, guys.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in terms of like it's being how often it happens, although they do say 50% of all marriages end in divorce, but the amount of people that should get divorced but don't because they don't want to, like, how much it uproots their lives and
Right,
everything.
so
So
it
some
could
people
be-
should get divorced but don't.
Gold is like, every game probably has 1 or 2 gold trophies.
Yeah, true.
So I think
It's a hard silver.
silver for marriage. If marriage is silver, I think divorce should be silver.
Cool.
But they're both, massive things. Giver of life, have a child, gold.
I think silver.
Silver,
I think
as someone who has given life.
have a kid,
Yeah.
silver. Birth a kid, gold. That's different because
Such a feminist guy.
seeing what my wife goes through for pregnancy,
But the
and
problem is-
goes through for birth.
No, I know.
Gold.
The problem
Platinum.
is we can't, this trophy list is for everyone. We can't go, are you female or male? It's
That's
for
true.
everyone. So otherwise it's an unattainable trophy for you, all right. So it just has to
That's
be
true.
have a child, giver of life, and you have to rate it. Silver or gold? I think just silver.
Silver for if we're making it unisex.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't give birth.
No,
so
but you would if you could, eh? guy?
I genuinely would.
No, I know.
Because I want to feel it.
No, I know. So giver of life, have a child. Taker of life, murder someone. So I was just like, wow, this is the sort of thing that would be in a video game.
Imagine like if this is life, and whenever you got a trophy, it like pops up in front of you, so you know you've achieved a trophy, right? And you're driving along, and you just jump out, and like you just like sneak a gap driving,
Yeah.
and you make it onto the road, you start driving, and then all of a sudden it's like ding, and you get like taker of life. You're like, what did I do?
Oh my God. Also, if I'm like looking at your trophy profile and looking at the trophies you've got, it's just, oh my God, guys murdered someone.
He's got the murder trophy
All right. So that's silver. Oh, silver.
for murdering someone.
Well, I don't want to encourage people with gold. I feel like gold's like, it's a really huge achievement.
Well, I think it's still if you make it silver, it's too easy to achieve.
But creating a life as silver So taking a life should be silver as well. Otherwise, you're promoting being like, wow, it's, you should kill people. It's a bigger achievement.
I think if it's on the list, if we're talking about life being getting achievements and we want to essentially achieve platinum,
right.
If you're adding murder on there, regardless of if it's bronze or gold, it's still, hey, you've got to murder someone to achieve this game.
Yeah, right. So you want it to be...
Make it bronze. Like, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I reckon it'd be pretty easy to kill someone.
Bronze. Yeah, totally.
Easy to kill someone. Gold to get away with it.
Oh, yeah, that's where gold would come in.
So easy to kill someone.
But this isn't
we just don't do it.
This isn't a murder simulator, though. So we don't want to encourage...
You're turning it into it.
It's just one small... Okay, the next 4 are all bundled together. You've got tourist, wanderer, globetrotter, and show-off.
Yeah.
Tourist, visit another country.
Cool.
Wanderer, visit 10 countries. Globetrotter, visit 20. Show-off, visit 50 countries.
Wow.
So I think I'm probably a wanderer there, I think.
I think I've been to 20.
You've been to 20?
Yeah.
So you're a globetrotter.
Lovely.
Yeah, and then show off is visit 50 plus.
No.
So I think tourist, wanderer, globetrotter, tourist and wanderer are bronze.
Yeah.
I think globetrotter's silver. Maybe show off is gold.
Show off could be gold.
Going 50 countries in your life is pretty impressive.
It's a lot easier if you live in Europe, though.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Like, you can be, if you live in the UK, you can just search the cheap airfares and you can fly to
anywhere
for like £12.
Yeah, that's true. Still 50 plus, maybe 100 plus.
Ooh, that is gold.
For gold.
That is gold.
All right. Running from the demons.
Ooh.
Complete a marathon.
Ooh.
So, Guy, this is silver. I think you could achieve this one eventually.
Eventually, I'm training for a half marathon in April, and training's going well. I like the idea of running a marathon one day. I'm just trying to figure out, obviously I've got a second kid coming in July.
I see this as very much in your 40s.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because I sit there and go, every single year I get older, it's going to get harder for me to complete a marathon, which isn't actually true because you see 60-year-olds completing marathons. So me being 32, if I wait 3 years... I'm pretty sure I'll still be able to achieve the marathon.
Absolutely. And this is a lifetime of trophies, so you've got plenty of time. The next one I put in pretty much for our sake, ace. Get a hole in one.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, a hole in one at golf, par 3 or something. You almost got one the other day. Well, not almost, where you drove the green on a par 4.
I did.
So if that had gone a meter to the right or whatever, it could have been a hole one.
I was in chance for an eagle putt,
That's
which
right.
if you know anything about golf, doesn't come that often, and I missed it by like an inch.
You still got a birdie.
Still got a birdie, which is fantastic, but I
great.
drove the green.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
This one I've put in just for my sake. Don't make them like they used to. Own 3 or more classic vehicles at one time.
Ooh.
So I don't have that.
You've got 2 though.
I've got 2, and I'd love to have that one day.
What's the next one?
For me,
If you were to grab your third.
I've got my truck, which is this is a real hack if someone's thinking of getting an old car. Get something useful, like a van or a truck or something.
Yeah.
So that when my wife is like, oh, can we go pick up a Christmas tree? Or someone's like, oh, I need help moving. It's like, oh, bring the truck.
I'd love to have a truck.
Yeah, that's sick. So I've got a truck and I got my old motorbike. Next one, I don't know.
Because you've owned 3 because you used to have the Holden.
Oh, yeah,
you sold
yeah.
that. So
I would like an old classic convertible roadster, similar to your dad's old one.
Oh, AMG Roadster.
English style, but Nissan made them in the 60s. They were called Datsun Fairlady Roadsters.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love the Japanese version of one of those one day.
Not like an MX-5?
No, the MX-5 is a spiritual, like they based it a lot of from the learnings of this very first Japanese one.
Cool.
From back in the day. I'd love one of those one day. Little go-kart. Half a century, turn 50.
It's harder than you think.
Silver, it is.
Silver.
Ace silver, by the way. Running from the demons is silver, and don't make them like they used to. That's silver as well. Golden years. This is gold. Retire. Oof. So you've already got that.
Technically.
No, but like completely retire. I'm not doing anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, because we're in broadcasting and media, there is a potential for like an evening with Guy Mansell.
Yeah.
Talking over that is a possibility one day. I don't think that counts, but just retiring from full-time work.
Well, it's like when you retire, you intend to retire, and then if all of a sudden you want to get back into work, that doesn't mean that the trophy disappears. You did, at the time, had full intentions to retire, and you weren't working, and you were like, I could live right now.
Yeah, because people could try and like hack the game to get that one, couldn't they?
Look, it's like, they could just quit their job.
I'm retiring. Well,
Yeah.
that's Michael Jordan retired, then came back, then retired again. So
That's true.
Yeah, there is a way to earn that early. The last one, platinum, earn every single trophy. This one's called Liar.
Liar.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I wouldn't believe it if you got all the trophies. because you'd have to murder someone and get a hole in one.
Yeah, that's so...
And run a marathon. There's probably plenty of people that have got every single trophy.
They've retired, they've killed someone, they've run a marathon.
Exactly.
They've had a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got married, they've been divorced, they've been in a fight.
They've got 3 classic cars.
So there will be people out there that definitely have this, but if anyone I know got this, I'd say you're a liar, man.
Yeah.
I don't believe
also,
you.
I wouldn't want to hang out with that person because they've killed someone.
Exactly. But I kind of would, though, because...
Does manslaughter count?
No, it has to be murder. Murder someone was the word.
Murder,
Yeah.
okay.
So intentionally take someone out.
Yeah.
So that is the official trophy list for life.
Wow, that's a good list. I like that.
Yeah, it was good. If you've got any suggestions, of course, Extremely Casual Group for Extremely Casual Gamers. Also, you can message us on the old Instagram there.
Oh, I've got one.
Okay.
It's off the top of my dome. It's a bronze one,
Yeah.
and it's going to be called Everyone Has One.
What is it?
Start a podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Because everyone has a podcast. And I know it's ironic saying that on a podcast, but everyone has one, and it's so easy to start one.
That's right. So we've all got that.
We've all got that.
Like
hey, don't forget to jump onto our Instagram, Extremely Casual Gamers Podcast, or our group, ECG, for asking questions for the DLC, the dedicated listener contents. There's the bonus episode that we are still up in the air about when we're going to drop it, which we're about to record into. But thank you.
It's 100% based on stuff you guys want to discuss.
These aren't questions that we've come up with. These are your questions, and we love seeing them. We love hearing all of your insights. And somebody asked if it has to be gaming related. It doesn't.
No, it can be literally anything, yeah.
It could be personal chat.
Well, that's the thing, and obviously we naturally stray into gaming anyway, so it's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, let us know. What are you playing this week?
I'm playing Elden Ring, and I am at the stage now where I'm fully back into it, and I am like exploring the thing with From Software games that's so great is the unthinkable amount of like build types you can do for your guy. So I've decided I'm going to be a dude who's got a giant long sword with lightning that like throws lightning bolts and is just Mr. Lightning with a massive sword. And it's not a smart way to play because it's quite hard and slow and a lot of the bosses are really fast, but it's just sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just been fun figuring out where I'm going to go, and now I've done that and I'm so excited to get to the DLC.
How far away are you from playing the DLC?
I think I'm halfway through the main game.
Oh my God, so for a while.
Yeah, it's been a slog, but it is just such an enjoyable slog that never gets old because the challenge, opposite of what Meg was asking for, it just keeps rising and rising and you'll keep getting pushed, basically.
That's mine.
So that's what I'm doing.
Plucky Squire is what I'm playing at the moment. Playing it with Meg. It's a very easy, chill game. But the reason that she put that post in the group saying she wants to know a game that's easy or just the same the whole time is that Plucky Squire is starting to get a little bit more difficult. Like the enemies, not too much. The enemies are taking like 2 or 3 more hits to finish as opposed to 1 at the start of the game. But it's still a very easy game. I thought I was close to finishing it last night, but then it like sort of flipped on its head and it's extended the story.
Oh, that's
which is really cool because it was like everything was coming to a head. It was like it felt like a big final battle, and then it wasn't. So I'll be playing the Plucky Squire, and then maybe some Helldivers as well if
we can get on.
Fellas are on.
I won't be able to do tonight.
Oh, can't you do tonight?
There's a leaving dinner for Hodaki that I forgot about. That'll probably be.
I thought it was a
one.
lunch.
Wow,
is it turning into a dinner?
Yeah. I don't want to, narrow it down to one meal.
Somebody's getting a steamed badge today.
Oh yeah, another one.
All right, but thank you for joining us on the podcast. Ellie has not been here this week because she takes some time off, but hopefully she's going to be back next week. And enjoy the DLC. Apart from that, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.